one thing about Minecraft dungeons is that they are very, very boring. And I'm not talking about the game. I'm talking about Minecraft in-game dungeons. The ones you go to find some really great loot. The one that you go to end up finding a bunch of zombies or whatever mob may spawn inside of them. Well, today we're going to be looking at this really cool add-on which was made by the one and only Big Onion Institute. Now this is actually a new type of add-on which basically changes how dungeons generate inside your game. So right now we're inside the old dungeon, and this is the dungeon that can still spawn inside your game, but there's now going to be a secondary dungeon which is going to be really cool to actually find. Now I'm going to point out that there's only one new type of dungeon, but each dungeon does have a possibility of having some really good loot or maybe some really bad loot, or you might end up finding yourself some kind of monster cage that's got like a zombie or a skeleton or a spider. Now I also went ahead and downloaded an optional pack, which is like an x-ray pack. Basically turns all the stone inside your game just to be invisible. So that way you can go ahead and take a look at what you want to go and find inside of here, like ores or dungeons or anything like that. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to go show you what kind of loot that we got around here, because the standard dungeons, they can give you some pretty good loot. So inside this chest we got ourselves cat, we also got ourselves some bones, we got some gunpowder, string, and as well as beetroot seeds. Inside this one we have ourselves a golden apple, plus we got ourselves pumpkin seeds, some string, bones, coal, and a piece of bread. So that's pretty much it for this one. And right over here I have an NPC all set up. So I can simply go and right click, edit dialogue, and I can teleport between the 3 dungeons that I did in the finding. So I'm going to go ahead and click on dungeon 1, and here we go. So this is what the new dungeon is now going to look like, and it looks really cool. Now for the monster spawner, it is still a little bit glitchy. I have no idea why Mojang can never fix this. So now let's go see what kind of loot do we got inside of here. So inside of this place, we get ourselves a music disc of 13, we have ourselves wheat, we have string, some bones, gunpowder, and a few other things. So if I go ahead and come right over here, we got ourselves some golden and diamond horse armor, which is pretty good, and we also got ourselves a piece of bread. So with this dungeon, this would be, but for the overall design of the dungeon, I really do like this. This is pretty cool. Now I believe that you can find these either inside the stone or you can find them inside caves. So I actually have not explored very many caves, so go ahead and explore those caves and see what you can end up finding. But I do know that you can still find dungeons inside caves. But I'm just going to go ahead and click on here. I'm going to go ahead and go back, and let's go ahead and see the next dungeon. So our next dungeon is dungeon 2, and inside this loot chest we get ourselves a bunch of rotten flesh and redstone and some iron horse armor. So it's not really the best chest, but inside here we get ourselves some golden horse armor, some string, some beetroot seeds, coal, and as well as some few other things. I also got ourselves a saddle, which is pretty cool. But I'm now going to go ahead and teleport directly back, and we are going to go ahead and move on to the final dungeon, which I'm going to go and come right here, and let's go ahead and do this. Now at the end of the video, I am going to be switching to survival mode, and I'm going to be taking on these dungeons. Now if you go and take a look around here, you are going to be able to find yourself some standard dungeons, plus you got yourself another new dungeon over there. In my own opinion, this is a really cool add-on, but I really do think that the Big Onion Institute, I really do think that they need to introduce just a few more dungeons. Like I think it would be really cool if you go into the desert and you can find yourself like a desert well, but this desert well is not as it seems. When you go ahead and go to the well, go inside of it, then there's going to be a dungeon right underneath. Now I also think that would be really cool if you can find yourself like a dungeon that's all covered up with cobwebs. Maybe you can find one that has like pillars all over the place. Like I'm just thinking here, I think it would be really cool if there were more types of dungeons to make this just a little bit more unique. And plus this would work really well for the Cave Update add-on. The Cave Update add-on, also made by the Big Onion Institute, that's a really great add-on. And if you go ahead and combine it with this, then you're going to have yourself some new dungeons, plus you're going to have yourself some brand new caves to explore. And it's just really awesome. But anyway, that's pretty much it for what we're going to look at. And without any further ado, I'm just going to go ahead and get myself some armor, and we are going to take on these dungeons. So here we go, game mode S, and I also have my spawn point set here. So if you do end up dying, then we are just going to go ahead and get teleported directly back to here, which is pretty cool. But let's go ahead and switch over to easy mode, and let's do this. So this one is going to be a zombies dungeon. So this one's just going to be the standard dungeon, by the way. So I'm just going to go ahead and get rid of this, and we are going to go and teleport to the first new dungeon, which is right here. So what is this one going to be? Oh, this is a skeleton spawner. Oh, look at that. They're just going to go and battle each other. That's actually really cool. So I'm just going to go ahead and get rid of these guys. So get out of here. Let's go ahead and take on this dungeon. Let's go ahead and get rid of the spawner really quickly. So yeah, you are going to be able to get yourself skeletons throughout here. and the skeletons, they are going to be mean. So anyway, we're just going to go ahead and go back to the next dungeon. Here we go. So this one's going to be a zombie spawner. Alright, so hopefully the last one is going to be a spider one. If it's not, then I'm going to be fairly upset, because it is actually quite difficult to actually go ahead and see on which dungeon you're taking on. So that's why I was saying, if there's one covered up with cobwebs, now that could probably be the spider dungeon. That would be a really good way to differentiate between the different dungeons. And then for the skeleton one, you can maybe have yourself like some bone structures or something like that. I mean, I think that would be pretty cool. So I'm just going to go ahead and teleport directly back. And let's go ahead and go to the next dungeon. So dungeon 3, which is going to be another zombie one. Okay, yeah, I'm very upset that I didn't get spider one. Told you I'd be very upset. Nothing ever works in my favor. But you know what? It's going to take on these zombies. There we go. And there we go. So I actually went ahead and went over to the standard dungeon to see what we got inside of here. This dungeon is a spider spawner. So yeah, I don't know why the standard one has to be a spider spawner, while the new one, cannot. I mean, like, I have no idea. And there you go. That's pretty much it for what I wanted to show you with this add-on. In my own opinion, I really do think that dungeons on Minecraft, I think they need to have a good update, because they pretty much look all the same. They've been the same for many years, and I would really love to see them introduce maybe like some new type of dungeons to the game, make them just a whole lot better. But also with this X-ray pack, it just makes things look very strange inside the game. But if you do want to go and get yourself this pack, there will be a link down below in the description, and of course you will be able to find a link to the X-ray pack as well. But I do want you to tell me what you think of this down below in the comments, and if you enjoyed today's video, then also let me know by leaving a like on it and subscribe so you never miss an upload. For now, I hope you have a logical day, and I will catch you next time. Bye!